This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now here on Katz and Cosby, we have Congresswoman Nancy Mace from the great state of South Carolina. I'm a Gamecock, so, thrilled to have you here. Congresswoman,
wonderful.
Thank you. Hey, first reaction, just to, you're a military gal. This just came down, as you heard, about Daniel Penny, a Marine who was there on the subway trying to defend others,
defending American citizens on a train.
And he's a Marine, well-trained. You're a military gal. What's your reaction? Justice seems to have prevailed even in New York City.
Well, I did graduate from the Citadel, but I never served. But justice prevailed today is what it sounds like in the case of Daniel Penny.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Your thoughts, too, about these drones that have been flying all over the place, Congresswoman. Have you seen this where there are reports of these drones that are flying over military facilities in New York, in New Jersey, also Bedminster, of course, which is Trump's golf course? How concerned should we be?
And I just heard of an incident at a base in South Carolina in the last couple of weeks as well. This is a national security issue, whether this is someone, testing out some drones over military sites, it's a dry run, or if it's China or Russia, an adversary. We have to get to the bottom of it and make sure that we are protecting our skies, that China isn't spying on our nuclear secrets or military installations and gathering data. I want to know why they haven't been shot down yet. Is what I want to know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I agree with you. I mean, to have these things flying over our bases, if President Trump was president right now, I don't think it would happen.
Yeah, I've been working on legislation for, military installations to be able to shoot these things down when they're over military bases. It's an FAA issue, apparently, but our House Armed Services Committee, we need to address it sooner rather than later and make sure that if it's China, that we're shooting them down, we're collecting the data, looking at the technology they're using, looking at the data they're trying to collect and figuring out how we can protect our national security.
What a far cry it is, John. I'm thinking you brought up Trump if he was in office. It feels like he's in office already because
sure does. It feels great to be an American.
The headline on Fox before was Trump is running foreign affairs even though he's not president yet.
Yeah, he's like the de facto, right?
He's like the de facto president because Joe Biden is still MIA like he's been the last 4 years. Nobody really knows.
We don't mind. We don't mind. Let him stay.
Yeah, John thinks that's a good thing, which we agree.
Let him have a good time in Angola.
Yeah, falling asleep.
Exactly.
But why did he give the Angolians $1 billion? Because he was visiting. And why did he give another $1 billion to the Ukraine?
Yep. And by the way, guys, in the southern states that got hit by Hurricane Helene, there are victims who had thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage on their property.
You know what they got?
$750 checks.
And I was going to say the way you say it in Brooklyn, they got guts.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what?
Funny.
Congresswoman, you had a great point because over the weekend he gives another wants to give another $1 billion to Ukraine. He gives the $1 billion like he talks about to Angola. And you know what he said when he gave the money to Angola? He said it's because they've been victims of natural disasters. I'm thinking exactly what you just said. South Carolina, which I know well, and North Carolina I know well, and I know you certainly do, Congresswoman. There are so many people that are still begging for help and are living in tents. And he's giving $1 billion haphazardly?
Yep. Have you seen the pictures of Asheville lately? I mean, it is still like a third world country up there in a lot of places in North Carolina, Western North Carolina. It's deeply sad. And we've got to help them, and they're just stranded and living in tents, homeless.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Congresswoman, what do you think these things are flying around? I mean, they're pretty big to be just plain,
regular drones. They seem to be bigger than like a hobbyist,
like the size of a car.
I haven't been briefed yet by DOD, so I can't say. But if I had to guess, my best guess would be these are adversarial. They're from China and they're spying on the United States.
And before we let you go, Congresswoman, you've been on the front lines. Bravo to you for fighting for young girls and women everywhere. Also fighting there in the halls of Congress to say that the bathrooms should be used by biological women for the ladies. Explain just some of the resistance you've gotten and also how important this issue is, because it goes into sports. It was a huge issue in the presidential race.
It sure was. And today I'm receiving death threats from unhinged lunatics. But the majority of America and the public are with me. They don't want men in women's spaces. And my legislation includes bathrooms, includes dressing rooms, locker rooms, any type of a single-sex female facility. Men shouldn't be in it. And I don't want to hear any argument otherwise. You're crazy. You're a lunatic if you think men's penises should be in women's spaces. Like, I don't want women to be forced to undress in front of men.
Should we have a guard in front of the women's bathroom and have them drop their drawers so we could check?
No, we don't want to do that, but we just want people to use common sense.
Yes.
Don't invade women's spaces.
Yeah, I don't want to see that in a ladies' room. Would you, Congresswoman? I wouldn't.
I don't want anybody's junk anywhere near me. And I made that very clear. And people are threatening to kill me over it, which is wild.
But, Congresswoman, it's Judge Richard Weinberg. Good to talk to you again. I want to say,
yes, sir.
We're the feminists who are supposed to be protecting women's rights for scholarships, for sports, for privacy. I don't hear anything about that.
Nope, they're not. And the few that are, the few on the left that are liberal or center left or feminists that are speaking out, the Democrat Party is leaving them behind. And I want those women to know you have a home here. We Republicans in the Trump era, we will protect women and girls.
You know what's amazing, Congresswoman? It was Seth Moulton of Massachusetts, right after the election, again, conveniently, came out and said, I think we were too far to the left on some of these issues with transgender. And then he got scolded by his own party.
They're going to primary.
He got annihilated because he didn't want boys playing in girls' sports.
In the studio with us, we have Congressman King, who was a member of the ranking member of Homeland Security.
I was chairman of Homeland Security.
Chairman of Homeland Security, and we got George Venizelos, who was the assistant director of the FBI for 4 years. Let me ask a silly question: does the Air Force or the FAA talk to the Air Force and have them shot down because that's what I would do if I was there.
On the drones. Or did somebody say to them, don't shoot them down? We should find that out. Yeah, Peter King?
Peter King? I agree with Nancy Mace, who, by the way, is doing a great job down in Congress. Thank you.
She is. You're fighting the great fight always.
Listen, I think it's important that you find out from DOD, from the Armed Services Committee. I mean, look into this completely because this is a real threat, especially flying over Bedminster, flying over military bases. Yep. And we have to get some kind of protocol as to what the policy is.
I've been in the middle of drafting a bill for a couple of weeks now regarding allowing our military installations to shoot down drones. Because my understanding is we need legislation because currently it's the FAA's responsibility. It's their airspace, even over military sites and nuclear sites. And so we have to do it legislatively is my understanding, which is why we've been working on a bill that we're going to file in the next Congress. And I sit on House Armed Services as well. But there is, I guess, a difference of opinion whether you're talking to FAA or DOD, but we've got to legislate it. And I've been literally in the middle of drafting this bill over the last couple of weeks. And it sounds like I need to do it now. That's what it sounds like.
George Venizelos from the FBI.
Yeah, I think before they shoot it down, they should try to figure out where it's coming from. The size of these.
When you shoot it down, you might, if you shoot it down nicely,
you can see
you'll find out where the equipment came from.
Because there's feelings that these might be coming from the sea, ships.
Which is scary. I mean, look, what did the spy balloon, remember, went across the country?
Where the submarine is coming from. I mean, we just have no idea. And we should be the greatest fighting force in the world. Why can't we figure this out fast?
Well, the same here. Nancy, could I ask you a silly question? When are we going to take back the Red Sea? Sir. The Red Sea and the Suez Canal. I mean, this is nonsense what the Biden administration did to us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've been trying to get over there because I want to see it for myself. But, I mean, we have a responsibility in our Navy, too, to protect commerce out at sea. And it's, of course, all of that's happening over there is making the cost of goods go up. It's hurting the supply chain. and that'll have an effect on the consumer.
We're helping. You got to think at it from the other point of view. We're helping Iran's profits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and prolonging the war,
survey,
prolonging the battle against us.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, you're talking about an administration. How many billions did they give Iran? They just gave them $6 billion more in March of 13th of this year. And
we made them
under the Obama-Biden administration. They gave them over $100 billion.
We made them rich again.
It's really frightening. Congresswoman, you're terrific. You got to come back on again soon. It's so great to have you here.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you so much. The great Congresswoman Nancy Mace.